I did have a completely different live planned for you today, but it seems like nobody can seems to be able to talk about anything else other than the coronavirus. So this is yet another post about the coronavirus, or rather about not the coronavirus. So what I wanted to do here is, so if you haven't seen my previous video about releasing the fear, please go and do that. It's on the fan page here, or the business page, whatever you want to call it, here on Facebook. So it'll probably be just below, but click on and search videos. And if you can hear me and you can see me, let me know. And what I thought I would do today is just give you, in we had the fear release, so definitely go and watch that. And anytime fear comes up, go and watch that fear release and activate that. But I thought what I'd do today is I thought I'd share some really simple, just some really simple, like instant techniques that you can use to bring you back to a place of feeling calm and centered, and kind of why we're in. And also I thought is a bit edgy, my thoughts on the insights I've had about, like, is there a spiritual reason why the world is in this mass panic right now? And probably, so I'm going to see how it feels. Let's see how it feels. Maybe I'll do that in another live another day. Let's move on with. So we did have a question come in. Let me just go and find my question. The question that came in. Come on. What are you doing to me? It's not giving me the question. The question that came in was, how do you? Oh yeah. I'd love to know how to distance myself from not only the virus fear, but also all the other bad news that's out there. I don't panic, so I don't panic so much. I don't panic so much, but it does get my blood pressure up. Okay, well, this will help. So the first thing I want to say about this is about distancing yourself from the fear. And the thing is, I wouldn't actually distance yourself from the fear. I would just release it. I would release the fear using the previous live that I did. I think it was last week. And what I would, and then I would also just use these little techniques. So, hi, I don't know who's here. I can't see. For some reason, I can never. I don't know why it's not. Facebook has done something weird. I can't see the comments anymore. But anyway, so here's a couple of really simple techniques that will enable you to feel safe and calm and balanced during these difficult times. So I'm going to start by just explaining kind of fear. So fear it comes from ego, and it actually serves a purpose. It has a really useful purpose. It has you take action to avoid dying. So it's not surprisingly that when you're presented with something, so that it is at a primordial, the most primitive level, it's the fight or flight mechanism. So it's so it's part of that. And so it's not surprising that in this current state of affairs where we are presented with this thing, there's this thing out there, people who look normal, normal people who love you, or maybe you just don't even know, and they may be carrying this thing that could kill you. So if fear is designed to keep you alive, to take action to keep you alive, and then you're presented with this, oh look, there's this thing that might not enable you to be alive, then obviously that's going to bring up fear, right? That's kind of, it's the natural response. But the way that we respond to it, like there's fear in terms of like, oh, I need to just do that or not do that, versus the abject terror and panic. So this comes from the idea of it's really just our really primitive brain, sometimes called the reptilian brain, that has us, no longer thinking rationally. So the first thing I would do is I'm going to give you a couple of tips, and that will bring you back into balance, remove you out of that state of raw panic, so that you can start thinking rationally again. Because what I don't want to do is, in fact, I'm going to give you the tips now, and then I'll give you the next piece. So first tip is a breathing technique. Now you can just breathe deeply, and that has some really great benefits, because typically when we're in fight or flight panic mode, we breathe high and shallow in our chest, which actually can trigger the panic mode. So the thing to do is just to reverse that. So you breathe low and deep in your belly. Okay. So here's what that look, and so so just do that. But here's a breath technique known as ha breathing, which we use in shamanism quite a lot. And it looks like this. So you take a deep breath in through the nose. You breathe out through the mouth with a little restriction. The out breath is longer than the in breath. And when you breathe in through the nose, you breathe right down into the belly. The out breath should be at least 2 times, if not 3 times longer than, 3 or 4 times longer than the in breath. So out breath is way longer than the in breath. So that's ha breathing. If you do just 4 ha breaths, that will bring you back into a state of feeling calmer and more centered and more balanced, so that you can trigger the rational part of your brain, which can then go, okay, so how big a threat is this? What do I actually need to do? Because, when you're in blind panic, that, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just panicking. Well, that's not going to help at this, because this is actually the sort of situation where you do want to be thinking clearly. There are probably actions that we could be taking that will help us, help you, help each other. And so get back into your cognitive, into your thinking brain with ha breathing. Oh, people are liking. Thank you for your likes. For some reason I can't see the comments. I'm just going to go and try and see if I can find the comments, because who knows why Facebook does what it does, and it changes its little magical thing. So not being able to see any comments. So I guess going to assume that there aren't any comments. Okay. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, this is a way that triggers the relaxation response in your nervous system, and it's known as going into peripheral vision. So there are 2 ways of using your eyes. One is with very detailed, very laser focus. That's known as foveal vision. That's what most people do most of the time. But when you're in high foveal, it triggers the stress response. And you know how when you're in that stress space and you get tunnel vision, that's exactly the same, because everything around you disappears. So what we're going to do is we're going to reverse that, bring everything around you back into awareness so that you're fully aware of everything. So the way to do that is to find a spot on the wall that you can see, a spot in front of you that you can see, and rest your eyes on that spot. Rest your gaze, not actually your physical eyes. You can take your eyeballs out, rest them on that. No, that's not it. Rest your eyes on that, rest your gaze on that spot. So keeping your awareness on that spot, your focus, your gaze resting on that spot, then bring your awareness to the sides of you. Now, ideally you'd have your arms right out here, but if I do that, the camera angle can't go that wide. So just do it so you can see. So bring your hands to the side of you and your gaze resting forward, and wiggle your fingers. And you should, in the periphery of the peripheral vision, be able to see the movement. Peripheral vision is less focused, less detail, but it picks up movement really well. That's why, you have that thing where you can see movement out of the corner of your eye, and then you turn to look. But don't turn to look. Keep your eyes looking on your spot, wherever that is. Rest your eyes on that gaze. I'm looking at the camera. Look at wherever you want to look at. And if you're talking to someone, a really great thing to do is to look straight right at the point on the bridge of their nose there. And then you can be in peripheral vision where you're looking right at them. And then you'll take in all of their being and everything that's going on. So resting your gaze on that spot, bringing your awareness to the sides, and also if you want to do up and down as well, so you can see above you and just below you, and then expand that out so you can see right behind you, right to the sides, way, way, way out. Now, when you're in peripheral vision, it's actually impossible to hold a negative emotion when you're in peripheral vision. So this automatically puts you into that relaxation nervous response. So it's the difference between parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous response. So it puts you into that relaxation nervous response. So your whole nervous system just relaxes, because everything is once again in context. And here's the thing, looking at coronavirus in context. Yeah, there's a lot of things that throughout the history of mankind that there have been that there have been things that we could worry about, lots of things that we could worry about. And the thing is, worrying doesn't solve anything, but the thing to do is to take the action that you might choose to take. So do what you feel is right when you're out of panic. Make those choices when you're in that relaxation, thinking clearly. So, and a great thing to do is breathe in peripheral visions, if you can do both. That's a bit like walking and talking at the same time, walking and chewing gum. So practice one, practice the other, then bring them together. The thing about ha breathing also is it increases the air element, and the air element is the element of thought and thinking, rational thought. So that will also enable you to, oh, I'm getting all sorts of emojis. Every single emoji. I don't know, did somebody just run their finger across that? So it'll bring, it brings you back into that rational thought. So who's up for a little bit of a spiritual take on the whole coronavirus game? Who's up for that? Let's see, what do we got? Anyone up for that? Anyone up for that? Can't see any comments. Let me know if you're up for that. So let me know. You up for that? It is a bit out there. So I'm going to assume that you are because I can't see your comments. If you're not, then you can leave now. And here's the thing. So nothing I ever say is the truth. Neither is it a lie. Here's just an idea, an insight that may or may not be. I'm getting thumbs up, so I'll go with that. Oh, hey, Kerry. So here's my take on what might be one of the reasons. And again, I don't know if this is the truth. This is just a thought. So one of the things I've observed is that we live in a highly fear-based culture right now. There's, and for a long time, there's been something to fear, something bigger than us. Possibly we can't see it. We don't know it's there. And it is actively out to get us. And this manifests itself in terms of vaccines, big pharma, 5G, the Illuminati, the government, rich people, and they're out to get poor people. There's some organization, institution, energy system that's more important, more powerful, bigger than I am, and it's out to get me. So I have to protect myself from it, and I need to be afraid of it. And I need to tell everyone else to be afraid of it so that they don't, they're out of the illusion as well. And here's the thing. I don't know that going around and spreading fear is necessarily the best way of doing it. Hey, I got lots of people. Becky, Sylvia, Sandra, Kirsten. Hey, cool. Kerry, welcome. Maria, Nix, good. So here's my take on it. So we're in this fear-based culture. We're basically, as a species, we're going around looking for things that could be out to get us. They're actively out to get us. And of course, the coronavirus is just another example of that. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't things that we need to be aware of. We have a physical body that we need to take physical care of. That's absolutely a truth. And here's another take on it. So I'm going to ask this as a question. Do you believe that you are an aspect of the divine? You might have heard that saying, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. Yeah. So if you believe you're a spiritual being, you're an aspect of the divine, of the all, of source, God, the universe. You're a part of the universe. You're an aspect of the universe. You're an aspect of God. God is within you. So if you believe that on some fundamental level, and if you're part of Psychademy, you're probably into spiritual stuff. So you probably have heard of that or have that as some kind of a notion of that is probably true. You may not experience it. You may not be labeling it in the same way I am or I experience it. But there's probably some sense that you know that there's more to you than your physical being. You're not your body. You have a body. So if you are an aspect of the divine, if you are the divine in physical form, then what could possibly harm? And you believe, so the next question is, do you believe the divine is all powerful? It's everything. It is undamageable, unharmable, because it's all. So if you believe that, then you are the divine. The divine is undamageable. So there's nothing at a true soul level that can truly harm you. Now, that doesn't mean you don't, so as I said, we have this belief of, this idea of we're not our body, we have a body, and we still might want to take care of our body so we maintain ourselves in physical form. And fundamentally, at a soul level, we are safe. At a soul level, we are safe. And when you have that belief, it gives you such a sense of compassion, of connectedness to each other, and love for yourself and for the world. So, Nick says, we're a drop of the wider ocean. Yeah. And I saw the sea today, and there ain't nothing that's going to damage that. And I also saw the cliffs, And there's a lot of stuff that can damage the cliffs, including big breaking waves. So I guess the cliffs aren't divine. I don't know. That was a weird metaphor. Don't know where that went. Anyway, so you're a part of the divine, and the divine is, it goes forever, it lives forever, it exists forever, and therefore nothing can truly harm you at a soul level. Now, that doesn't mean you don't want to still take care of your physical body, right? Because you have a physical body and you might like it. You know, I'm pretty keen on mine. I think it's great. It gets me from A to B every time. And so I'm really happy to stay in the physical form. And so there's some stuff I'm doing, you know, the whole, you know, following the advice and stuff. So here's the next thought about this. Now, this is where it's going to get really woo-woo. So, and as I say, I have no idea if this is a truth. Just, this is an idea. So I'm going to say this as a what if. What if the coronavirus was actually here to assist us through our next level of awakening? And what if, from a greater perspective than our limited human minds can perceive right now, there's something really powerful, really important, really useful, that it's some purpose that it's serving. So, and then there's this other idea. So you might have heard the idea that we are the creators of our experience and or our universe. We're the creators of our universe. Now, you could say we're the creators of our physical reality. I don't know if that's true. I know that there's certainly things we can do to influence our physical reality. But I do know that two people can have the same experience and respond completely differently. So they're in, like, they can be in the same circumstances and their internal experience is different. So you might not be the creator of the coronavirus, but you are absolutely the creator of your response to it. So what if you perceived it as something that was here to serve humanity in a really powerful way? And I have no freaking idea what that is. And that doesn't mean I'm, you know, like, oh yeah, it's a good thing all the old people are going to die. No, I don't think that. I don't think that at all. In fact, my beautiful husband is probably, because he's quite a bit older than me, classified as one of these people in danger, in the danger zone, or more danger zone. And he works in a university, so he's surrounded by thousands of, frankly, not totally hygienic students. So that doesn't mean that, you know, like we're just going to wish people dead. Let's just have that out there. That's not what we're about. But what if there is something that it is teaching us? Because throughout history, every time there's been some really powerful global, like, I'm going to say earth-shattering global paradigm shift, it's come about because of something before it. And if you've watched any of my videos on Project Theos about being in the drawback of the throat chakra, so the drawback of the throat chakra is where everyone talks and not always making a lot of sense, not always speaking a truth, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories and fear-based information that's being passed around. So it's like an excess of the throat chakra. And so what if this is our spiritual tipping point? So the question I want you to start asking yourself, I'm not going to give you this answer because I don't think this is an answer that anyone can give any individual. But if you were to ask, what could the coronavirus mean, or this situation mean, for humanity's spiritual tipping point into awakening? What could it mean? So, and and if you have any thoughts on that, I'd love for you to share them. Let's start creating an empowerment vortex, an awakening vortex, and an awakening space. Now, those of you in my initiation program, I shared some pretty edgy stuff on Tuesday, which obviously I'm not going to share here with everyone because that was really, really edgy. Frankly, I don't want the hate mail. And out of context, because you know, with the whole peripheral vision thing, what that does is that puts things back into context, and out of context things, you always need context to fully understand something. So here's the thing, ask yourself, like, we don't really understand why the coronavirus is here and what it's like. What is it here to teach us? I don't know that we know that yet. So let's put it back into context. Put it back into context by asking the question, what could be the purpose? What's the wider picture for its purpose? Because when you start to know that, and again, that's not for me to answer, that's for you. So out of chaos comes calm. Oh, excuse me, hiccuping. My apologies. Becky says, I'd had these thoughts too. Yay. You're an initiate. Yeah, see, I know that. Kara's been thinking this too. Change and togetherness. Because here's the real paradox, right? And I think change often happens paradoxically. We're probably going to be told to do even more isolation, isolating, like not going out, and like we've already been told, no, don't go, licking the face of other people. Was that the instruction? That's what I heard. I don't think it was quite that. Don't go licking other people's faces. Okay. Tell my dog that, right? So we're not supposed to, so a lot of the instructions are around, and the guidance is around becoming more isolated. But here's the thing, through the power of our technology, we can maintain an even deeper level of connection. And I wonder, it's like before you have one, it's like you almost need to go to one extreme before you have the other. And maybe this is just to say, right, blimey, we really do need to be around and be loved and connected. Loved by loving other people and connected to other people. So I will send you off with love and connection and expansion and growth and blessings and joy. And stay safe. Follow whatever the guidelines are if they feel right for you. And use your cognitive brain. Think. Because when you move beyond the throat, we move to the third eye. And the third eye is the place of discernment. This is where we move out of judgment. It's right, it's wrong. Into discernment, which is it useful? So start do the research. Look into what's underneath, and trust yourself, and trust what you know, and trust yourself, and trust source, and just trust. So till next time, love you lots, guys. Sending love. Bye for now.